Fulton Sheen warned Catholics against the SSPX in a 1978 letter, calling the group a path to schism and heresy. But after nearly 5 decades of liturgical collapse, episcopal corruption, and Vatican double standards, the question is no longer whether Sheen was right, but whether revisionists have finally exhausted the argument. On September 21st, 1978, Sheen wrote to a mother of 8 urging her to dissuade a friend from joining the Society of St. Pius X. This group has no ecclesiastical approval, he wrote, and indeed, it can lead her and possibly her family into schism and even heresy. He dismissed traditionalist concerns about the liturgical reform, insisting that the changes merely changed from Latin into the vernacular, and that the Lord never said Mass in Latin. He used the language of the time. In the context of 1978, when many parishes still retained ad orientem celebration, chant, and communion on the tongue, Sheen's assessment was plausible. But today, with 17% weekly Mass attendance in the United States and the systematic suppression of the traditional Latin Mass under Traditionis custodes, his reassurances read like a time capsule from a vanished world. Sheen was correct on one point. The SSPX has never had canonical approval. Founded in 1970, Rome withdrew recognition in 1975, and today the Society's status remains irregular. As Pope Benedict XVI reaffirmed in 2009, until the doctrinal questions are clarified, the Society has no canonical status in the Church. But canonical irregularity is not schism, and it is certainly not heresy. In 1988, Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre consecrated 4 bishops without a papal mandate, incurring automatic excommunication. In 2009, Pope Benedict XVI lifted those excommunications in a decree aimed at promoting unity in the charity of the Universal Church. The SSPX has never denied the Pope's primacy. It has defended the Catholic faith against what it sees as doctrinal innovation. Yet today, as the SSPX prepares to consecrate new bishops on July 1st, Rome threatens automatic excommunication again. The canonical defense is grave necessity. Canon 1323, Section 4 exempts from penalty those who act out of necessity or serious inconvenience. The SSPX argues that the worldwide shortage of traditional rite bishops in dioceses where altar rails have been ripped out and the ancient liturgy suppressed constitutes just such a necessity. Without schismatic intent, the classification of the act as schism is legally dubious. The deeper problem with Sheen's 1978 letter is its assumed context, that the novice ordo was a modest reform, that the crisis would pass, that traditionalists were simply malcontents. 50 years later, with bishops in Germany formally blessing same-sex unions, with a Vatican that embraces Anglican leaders while threatening FSSPX bishops, the old warnings have lost their force. Sheen deserves veneration. His 1978 letter should be read with historical charity, not as an infallible oracle. But no Catholic today is bound to accept his every judgment as eternally valid. The SSPX has been neither formally schismatic nor heretical, and the Church's own law supports a pastoral response, not a punitive one. The faithful seeking the sacraments in a Church that has often abandoned its own tradition deserve clarity, not condemnation.